Hello, I'm Jeff Booker, Tri-Kit Conversions. I build tricycles and conversion axles, and today I'm going to go through the basic procedures I use for making the seat stays which support the conversion axles on a standard bicycle. I've got one here that is actually finished. It's basically a telescopic seat stay, two pieces, and they're made of stainless steel. There's basically not a lot to it. The short internal part has a flattened end which has got an angle on it, and that goes up to the seat clamp, and that slides into the bottom tube. The bottom tube has a pinch clamp on it at the top with a slot, so it will pinch up and tighten up on the top tube. Further down, there's a cable stop here because these particular stays are going to be used on a conversion axle with disc brakes, and the other end, this final end here, is flattened, and to strengthen it, because it's quite thin tubing, to strengthen it there's an insert in the end here which basically thickens it up. These tubes are 16 millimeters or 5/8 diameter, and they're just I think they're 35 thou thick, which is not very thick. The other tubes, the top tubes, are 9/16 diameter and or 14 millimeters, and they're a little bit thicker diameter tubing, so they're a lot stronger. So the first thing we have to do, which I've already done, is I've cut the tubing. I'm making 8 or 4 pairs, 8 seat stays, so there's 4 pairs. So I've cut the long tubes, the short top tubes, and these are the reinforcing pieces which go into this end. So the first operation is to take these tubes and I flatten them in the fly press. So that's what I'll be doing next. Right, so we're now just by the fly press, and I've put the tubes over here ready. So we've got to first of all insert the small tube into the larger one. So it's basically a good slide fit in there. Just push it into the end, and then I have a mark under here. This press is all set up. So it's just basically a flat block there and flat block here. I've got a line here which is where I take the end of the tube to, and it's just a case really of putting it on the mark, and we bring the press down, and a good hard swing and a few bumps to flatten it right off. So now we've got a flattened end, and I've got to do all the rest of them exactly the same. Out of the way. So the next operation is to change the flat anvil here for this one, which has got a groove through it, to fit the tube, and it's also an angle. Then we have to flatten the smaller length of tubes with the angle on and a flat, so that they fit the seat post clamps. So I'll just take this out of here. And I have to remove the screw and fit that onto here. Right, so I've swapped the anvil over, and now I'm going to place this back into the press. And I've repositioned the bottom anvil, and now I can flatten the ends of the small tubes. And for this, it's very basic tooling, but it does the job for the number of units that I make, which is quite small. I've got a line here at the back, which I just place the end of the tube there and central about the top block, and we just line it up at the back, in the middle at the front, and straight. And then I use another tube, just a bit of aluminium tube, which helps to bring the angle up as I squash the front of the tube. So here we go. That's one. And we give it a few bonks to get it flat, and then that's basically what we're looking to get. The finished article, when it's got to be machined at the end, comes out like that. So that's basically what we're looking at producing, is this one. Okay, so I'll now flatten the others. My primitive press tooling, but it works. Milling machine up to mill the ends and put the hole in first, and then mill the ends, and I'll show you how I do that. Right, so I've now flattened all the ends of the tubes, and I'm now going to drill the hole through the end. So to do that, basically I use my milling machine. Now I've set it up, so basically I've got a stop here, and I just basically put the tube up to the stop onto a pair of parallels, and I've already set the drill in the centre across the width here, and to the right dimension off the end. So we're all ready to go. It is just simply a matter of drilling the holes in them now. So I've now set up the long tubes to drill the holes in the end, which will finish up like that. I've set up the drill central about the flat area, and I've got a stop at the end, and I'll just pop the stay in up to the stop, and then they're all set, so it can all be done the same. So it's a simple matter really of just drilling the holes. One done. Have a small centre to start them off. So the next part to do is to machine the radius round the end of the tube. So that's how it is at the moment, and that is how it basically finishes up. So to do that, I've just got a simple setup with a V-block with a bar with a tapped hole in. And the cutter is set central about the bar, but pitched across to miss the edge of the bar, so when I turn it, it will round the end on the bar. So all we do is screw the bar onto here, like so. Turn the machine on. That's as simple as that, really. And we have a radius end on the bar. Just got to take the sharp edge off afterwards. So that's what I do for the ends, and I also do the same for the shorter bars to produce the radius round there. So I just change the locating bar and the different size screw them on, and we just swivel them through to get exactly the same result. So this is the shorter arm now I'm doing, and basically exactly the same as the long one. I'll just screw it onto this mandrel. Like so. Bring the cutter down and swing it round. same, it puts the radius round the end of the bar, and you're just going to take the burrs off the end. It basically does the same job. Cutter I'm using is a carbide tipped, or sorry, a carbide cutter, solid carbide cutter, so the speed is quite high. Could use a standard high-speed steel cutter and just slow the revs down, but this is what I use. Another one, no. The next operation is to braze on the cable stop onto the seat stays here. So this is a little cable stop, not very big, and I'm going to braze it onto the tube. I don't know whether you can see this. There we are. I'm going to braze it onto the tube. Thus, I've got a little fixture that I use to position them, and so I'll just place the camera up there, and here we go. So this is the fixture I've got. Quite straightforward. It slips onto the flat area of the stay, and the boss, the little cable stop just slides onto there, and I can flux it and braze it on. So I'll just clean that area off first around me. And we can pop this back on. Bit of flux on there. I'll put it on the cable stop as well. That's it. Right, now get the torch and some brazing rod. Now, as this is a stainless steel, I'm using a nickel bronze rod instead of the normal silicon bronze, as it brazes better on stainless steel. And I've also got a different flux that I'm using for stainless steel rather than flux I use for brazing steel frames. So here we go. Keep this flame down small. Okay. Need to put my glasses on, it's a bit bright. There we go. to be careful not to overheat this stainless because it can crack. That side. Right, that's that one done. Seven more to go. It's got to be cleaned up afterwards. I'll do that after I've done the other end. I've got to put a clamp boss on this end, which is one of these. It's got to go on here, and then it's got to be cut after that. But for now, we're just going to do the cable stops. So 7 more to go. So having brazed the cable stops onto the stays, next job is to braze the clamp pinch bolts onto the other open end of the stay. So this is one of the bosses I'm going to put on, and that basically just fits onto the end here. Get it focused. There we are. And I just fit it on with a G-clamp and then braze it on. So this is the first one. Put the camera up there. So I'll just use a small G-clamp and put some flux on first. Flux on there. G-clamp on there. So that's that. And they're located, actually, I forgot to say, the little bosses are located on with a scallop which fits the tube. Makes life a little easier, and you get better braze all round the joint. I normally just braze one end first, and I'll take the clamp off. I'll tack the one first, and take the clamp off. Then the clamp will cool down for the next one. That's the theory anyway. Take that off of there. Do the other side. That's that one done. That's that one done. Still a bit hot, as you can see. And again, I've got to clean that up, and I'll do all the cleaning up together. So that's one done. 7 more to go. Having brazed the ends of the tubes, so I've put the pinch clamp on and the cable stops. They're all done now. I've cleaned up the tubes, taken all the flux and the braze off of the flux and the burnt bits off. So I've cleaned those all up, so they're all done now. And I'm now going to put the slot in the pinch bolt. So we'll come over to the mill. I'll set the camera so you can see it, hopefully. With a bit of luck it won't fall over. There we go. Now, I've set the mill up. I'm using this cutter, which is a 4-inch diameter slotting cutter. I've got a stop here to slide the tubes up to, and I'm using these half blocks in the mill to hold it in the vise. So I've already set this up, so it shouldn't be difficult to do. I'm going to knock the camera over. Oh, here we go. I'll just swivel that round to there. Just bring the cutter down. That's all ready to go. Just a quick view there. I'll start the machine and cut it. So that's cut the slot in there. Take it out. So there we have the slot all cut in there. So that's pretty much all there is to do now. Just clean out there's a little burr inside. I need to take the burr out from the inside and then put the 2 tubes together, and they're all done. Right, so I've taken the burr out of this tube, and we now just slide the 2 pieces together like that, and that's the assembly done. So that's how I make my seat stays for the conversion axles. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching.